Congress is ready to overturn regulations for holding schools accountable under the Every Student Succeed Act, or ESSA. President Barack Obama signed the bipartisan bill in law in 2015 to ensure all students received a quality education. Republicans claim the rules represent an executive overreach. Democrats say rescinding the rules will open loopholes to hide or ignore schools that fail to adequately serve poor children and minorities. Republican Senator and Chair of the Education Committee, Lamar Alexander, introduced a resolution in February to overturn regulations that were implemented to improve low-performing schools.
Congress said to the department, you cannot tell states exactly what to do about fixing low-performing schools. That's a state decision. But this regulation does that anyway. And Congress said to the department, you cannot tell states exactly how to rate the public schools in your state. But this regulation does that anyway.
All right, let's break it down. Former Education Secretary John King and CEO of the Education Trust. All right, so you can't tell states what to do with low-performing schools. Let's just keep them?
Apparently. I mean, this is much like the Louisville situation where you're going backwards on school desegregation. This is going backwards on a civil rights law. The original version of this law was passed in 1965 as a civil rights law. The idea was that the federal government needs to be active in ensuring that states pay attention to the performance of all students, particularly low-income students, students of color. And what you're seeing in Congress is a retreat from those principles.
So when he says, we said don't do it, but you did it anyway, is he right?
No, I think he's reinterpreting the history of this law and even of the agreement that was reached when the president signed the law. The president said when he signed the law, this is a civil rights law. I'm signing this law because I want to make sure states continue to make progress in serving the students who are most vulnerable. And that's what the regulations tried to advance, and now they're trying to undo that.
And I think what's particularly egregious is, you know, our new Secretary of Education, we already know that they are not here to, not only are they not here to take care of students, they're not here to take care of parents. I mean, I think our even bigger concern is what's going to happen to all of these loans that are actually being serviced through the Department of Education. And I think it's a cop-out to say send it back to the states, because we already know that some of our states are not doing their job to make sure that these young people are actually being educated in the way they need to be. So saying send it back to the states, to me, is actually a dog whistle.
What's happening here is the same as what happened with the VRA. We look at how a civil rights law can be deconstructed over time. We have to keep the pressure on. I mean, there's no way that just because, and I wish anyone who's looking could share the word with people who are not informed. Look, wake up, because little by little they're encroaching upon protections that the civil rights movement, Dr. Malveaux knows personally, people died so that these children could have a quality education, and now they're trying to undo that.
I just think she said you old, but go right ahead. That was the way she threw it out there. Go ahead.
I said she was
okay, gotcha. I got you.
I don't take any offense. I mean, I was supposed to be dead a long time ago, according to some folks, and talked enough mess to have been. But let me say this. When we look at the human resource needs of our country in the long run, we must look at what our education system is producing. We have this president talking about creating jobs and doing this and doing that, and yet you're undermining the foundation of intellectual development by saying we're going backwards. And so we've seen progress. Now, you know, disabled students are going to have challenges. Students of color are going to have challenges. We're going to have all these challenges that are a function of simple meanness that is being generated by some ignorant people.
Secretary King, how do we mobilize people to stop this?
Well, folks need to reach out to Congress today. There's a vote today that will likely set these regulations back. Then the next step, if the regulations are overturned, is to work in states and to demand that states pay attention to how their students of color are doing, how their low-income students are doing, that they make opportunity available in every school. It shouldn't be that some schools offer calculus and chemistry and physics and other schools don't. It shouldn't be that some schools have school counselors and other schools have law enforcement officers. And that's what folks need to organize around.
All right, we'll keep giving them hell.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much. A peaceful protest turned deadly. 37-year-old black man was shot and killed by Baton Rouge police. His hands are in the air, and you still get shot by the cops.
Oh my God, please don't tell me he's dead.
We're not going to let hate define us.
Race is a big part of this.
If truly all lives matter, then all lives need to matter equally.
What we require is action. What we require is accountability. We understand that black lives do matter, and we will keep focused on this issue.
NewsOne Now, every weekday morning at 7 on TV1.